Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. It's Monday, uh, the Monday after. The last 72 hours has been crazy since, if you're talking about since Friday, with all that has been happening, you know, Raila being announced that he has passed on, um, the chaos that ensued, the drama within his political party, ODM, with everyone jostling, haji-badging for positions. It's been wild. And here we are, it's Monday, and Raila is on the ground, buried in his home in Opoda. Happy Mashujaa Day. I know today is Happy Mashujaa Day. So for all those true revolutionary soldiers, Kenyans who actually stood up and fought for this great nation, may your soul rest in eternal peace. But let's get to it. Uh, a post Raila era, how does it look like? Before I get into that, I just want to comment on the procession, the funeral procession yesterday when Raila, just the whole process. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I just watched a glimpse of it to see what was going on as far as, who was speaking, what was said, any kind of unusual thing that was said. I thought it was interesting. But anyway, one thing I want to say about the funeral procession or Raila, Raila's, when people are eulogizing about him and different sectors, talk shows, politicians, giving Raila his tribute, giving a tribute to Raila. I want to say this. This is precisely the problem with Kenyan politics. We are pretenders. Majority of us Kenyans, we are pretenders. There's nothing real about us. Just a week before Raila passed on, he was being called all sorts of names. Okay? Then all of a sudden, once the news breaks out that he's dead, we are trying to pretend that, it was just politics. All that we were saying, it was all about politics. Nothing major, it was just politics. Okay, Mzee was a good man, or he brought democracy, he was all this and all that. It's a bunch of nonsense, okay? We need to be truthful in ourselves. We have to stand by what we say. If you're going to call somebody a con man, call him a con man when he's alive and call him a con man when he's buried, okay? When he's dead. Don't pretend that all of a sudden now you have respect for Raila Odinga, okay? Now you can say that out of respect for his family, you're not going to call him con man. Once he's dead, I can understand that. But that does not take away the fact that Raila was actually a con man, okay? Now, let me say this. Again, this is the point that I will try to make here. I see a lot of people were saying, Raila was a great leader. Raila brought us democracy. Raila fought for us. Raila fought for our freedoms. To some extent, yes. But by and large, no. Raila did not. Raila proved, especially in the last 10, 15, 20 years, he proved beyond reasonable doubt, but he was part of the problem. He was part of the oppressive colonial regime in place. He was part of the plan by the regime, by the colonialists, to fool Kenyans that he was the opposition while he worked hand in hand with the opposition. This needs to be said, okay? It makes me sick to the stomach when I see people here acting as if, now all of a sudden Raila is this great person who brought us multi-party democracy. No, he was part of the crew that were actually agitating for a multi-party democracy. Actually, of all the people who spoke in that funeral outside of his family, I think Orengo was someone who was actually true. I felt some honesty in it. I liked eulogy or speech or whatever you want to call it, James Orengo stood by what he meant, and he reminded people. Oh, I like this. He spoke with um, valiantly, okay, without mincing his words, reminding people that Raila actually won in 2017. Reminded them, okay, that's the kind of chaspa balls you need to speak out. There are some things that needs to be said, as people have to understand, be reminded, okay? These are things that needs to be said, okay? But on the flip side, where Orengo missed out, and I didn't expect him to say this in a funeral, was that Raila actually turned against the people after 2017 elections, okay? I didn't expect him to say that, but I gave him 5 brownie points for standing up and mentioning, reminding people that Raila actually won, but he left out the part that Raila actually abandoned the struggle and joined the oppressors. Now, his oppressors, not oppressors, the people's oppressors were sitting right there in the days. William Samoei Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta, okay? These are the guys who have been ordering the police security forces to shoot down Kenyans, Raila supporters, okay? So when you hear them say, oh, Raila was this and that, Raila was this and that, it's a bunch of nonsense, okay? If there was anybody that I wanted to hear from, was his immediate family, friends. I'm talking about brother, sister, wife, you know, and kids. And his son, Raila Odinga Jr., for some reason, he felt the opportunity, he felt he saw this as an opportunity to introduce his wife. I think it was in bad taste. You're supposed to be mourning your father who you love so much, or you claim you love. I don't know your relationship with your father. I'm not going to judge you on that. But I don't think the world or Kenyans were holding their breath, waiting to see your wife. They were there to mourn your father, because majority of the people there, at least a good number of them, the supporters, wanted to see their loved one, Raila Odinga, who meant a lot to them, buried in peace. We did not come there to the funeral to see, for you to unveil your new wife. Who gives a, let me just leave that last word out. Okay? So I thought that was in bad taste. But the point that I'm trying to make here is this. If there was anyone that was to speak about Raila Odinga, I would have preferred if it was just his immediate family and the people who are the closest to him as far as the working relationship, the Orengos, Anyang' Nyong'o, and so forth, okay? The rest were just noisemakers trying to make themselves as close as Raila to Raila as possible, okay? So, like I said, to me, I didn't watch the funeral itself, because like I said, I thought it was a bunch of noise. All right, it was, besides Winnie Odinga's speech, Mama Ida's speech, and Orengo's speech, everybody else was a bunch of noise. I didn't trust everybody. They were just there for themselves and talking a bunch of nonsense. Okay, now listen up. For those of you who are coming out and speaking about Raila's legacy, like I say, the number one problem when it comes to majority of us Kenyans, the problem that we have is that we like pretending that the problems we are facing do not exist. We like pretending that the people who have been instrumental in our oppression are our heroes. We like pretending, okay? Everybody now all of a sudden is saying good things about Raila Odinga. Oh, this man is this man is this. And let me tell you something. You are not going to be liberated Kenya is not going to be liberated if they cannot confront the truth about their leaders. You cannot be liberated if you cannot speak the truth and confront the truth about these leaders, this rotten, corrupt political class, including Raila Odinga. Rest in peace. It has to be said. Like I say, have the balls to call Raila, if you have the balls to call Raila Odinga con man before he died, or mganga, or huyo mzee wa sijui nini, wa maandamano, okay? Stick to your guns. When he dies, don't pretend that, oh, all of a sudden now he's a good guy. Say what you mean what you say. Okay? Let's not start pretending and rewriting history and saying that, oh, Raila was such a great person. Did he have some good in him? Yes, he did have some good things about him. But when we are looking at the political struggle, the struggle for Kenyans to get away from the chains of colonialism, oppression, Raila was definitely not the ally of the people. He pretended to be. Every move that he made was a selfish move. Okay? For his personal gain. That's why you see his orphans are now bleating about, talking about they should stick with the President Ruto post 2027. As a matter of fact, I won't be even surprised if they declare President Ruto as their presidential candidate in 2027. The Opio and I, the Oburu Odingas, the Hassan Johos, the Mbadis, the Oparanyas, the Gladys Wanga. They have to kiss Ruto's buttocks in order to survive post 2027. Okay? But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's switch up gears. This is a wonderful opportunity for Gen Zs to rise up. This is a wonderful opportunity for Gen Zs to rise up. The cybercrime law is still in place. The revised land law is in place. And many other draconian laws are in place as we speak. It is time for Gen Zs, Gen Zote, all Kenyans with a conscience to stand up and deal directly with the political class. Because let me tell you something. The death of Raila Odinga is a deliverance. Okay? It is sad on a personal level if you knew him personally. But politically speaking, it's an opportunity for now a direct, clear, concise confrontation between the Kenyan bourgeoisie and the proletariat, the poor, the downtrodden. Okay? Wale watu wako chini. It's time for them to get up and confront Ruto, who is the mascot of this political class, and take him out through a people's popular revolution without the worry of consulting Raila Odinga or worried about Raila Odinga and his goons stepping in to rescue Ruto. This is the opportunity that we have now. And that is the opportunity that I'm referring to. That's why I'm saying Raila's death is sad on a personal level. But when you're talking about on the political level, it's not a bad thing. It's a deliverance. It's a blessing in disguise. I'm not saying it's something to celebrate the death of somebody. I'm simply saying Raila being that influential figure in Kenya who have always interfered, intervened, stopped grassroots revolutionary movement from actually revolutionizing the system is no more. Jesse, I see you. I don't know why you have. Why do you think? I don't know. I'm not a Babu Owino supporter as you think. I think you should watch my old videos. I'm not a Babu Owino supporter by any means. Okay? I'm not worried about Babu Owino. I think Babu Owino has a long way to go, and he's about to face a lot of, you know, he's about to have a lot of hiccups in his political journey. Like I mentioned in my previous video, his biggest mistake was to reveal his intention way too early. But thank you very much. Take this opportunity to like the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed as we go on about this. Like I'm saying, I will repeat again for those of you who are just joining. If you're following me on X, keep on following. If you haven't followed, if you're watching this video, just go ahead and follow. Go to my YouTube. My name is Kenya Revolutionary, as it is written right there, you see, on YouTube. And subscribe, share, like, comment, and do all the good stuff. So how does a post-Raila Odinga Kenya political arena looks like? How does it look like? Okay? I said in my previous video, you saw Uhuru Kenyatta stayed an extra day. He's still in Bondo. I don't know if he has left yet. Okay? The most powerful person right now, the silent power. I know some people are saying Uhuru has no influence. Uhuru is just... No. You don't understand how real power works. Real power is silent. Okay? For example, if you were to use the United States, for example, if I was to ask you, who are the most influential people in America right now, the US? Some of you will say Trump, some of you will say Jeff Bezos, some of you will say, I don't know, Obama, some of you will say, those are not really the most influential people in America. The real power, I'm talking about the real power. You'll say Bill Gates. No, those are not. I'll tell you the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. Have you ever heard of those names? No, you haven't. Right? You haven't. Because it's called the silent power. Real influence, real power is silent. You don't know them, you don't see their faces. Same thing with England, UK. Who are the real power behind the UK, power in the UK government? It's not the parliament. It's not the prime minister. It's not the Labour Party. Okay, it's not the Tories. No, it's not. It's the king. I know you think it's just a ceremonial position. No, it's not. And above the king is the Rothschild, the bankers who are behind the crown. But you won't know this, right? You will not know this because real power is silent. Now, getting back to Kenya. The Kenyattas always operate underground. That's what I'm telling you. So now you see Uhuru stayed back to sit down with Oburu, wapange moja mbili tatu, you know? Because now it seems like everybody, at least the political class, they want to endorse Oburu to continue with Raila's, you know, to take the mantle from Raila Odinga, probably as the head of ODM. Oburu may take over the mantle from his brother, Raila Odinga, as the head of ODM, but Oburu does not have the influence that Raila has. Oburu will only be aligned to the political class, maybe Ruto, Uhuru. Okay, he will be rubbing shoulders with them. But if you're talking about the people's will not be with Oburu. They will not be going crazy for Oburu like they did with Raila. Okay, that's the difference. So what I'm saying is this: we have Ruto as president, who will manage, take over ODM. In fact, Wakina Mbadi and Opio Wandai, they're basically telling Ruto, please come and just take over us. Kuja to inherit us. Come and inherit us. Kuja utuchukue tu kama tukwae your adopted children, politically speaking. Take us over as your adopted children. Wale ambao watapiga makelele hapa na pale watatolewa kwa chama. Okay? But basically, the ODM people, especially the ones who are in government, are attacking to lose their jobs, so they have to lick Ruto's ass crack as hard as they can. Ruto is their new daddy. Okay? So Ruto has officially, basically remotely controlling ODM. And with Raila Odinga dead, the broad-based government might survive, will survive, and will probably go post 2027 elections. And I won't be surprised if Ruto invests heavily in Luo Nyanza in order to try to campaign, create this narrative that Ruto is now fulfilling what Raila Odinga wanted done in Nyanza province. That way, in an effort to woo the Luo nation, the people of the Luo nation votes, okay? That is what I think Ruto will do. It's not hard to see. It doesn't take rocket science, okay? But what I want to emphasize and to call for is for the resuscitation of the Gen Z movement. This is needed. It is needed now. It's needed what? Now. Sio 2027. 2027, I can tell you the script. I'm not a prophet, but I'll tell you the script. Speaking of prophets, there's a prophet called something Israel, whatever. A year ago, he prophesied that Raila will ataishia, ataenda Zayun. Now he's on it again. He's saying that Uhuru Kenyatta is next on the line. Uhuru pia ataenda Zayun. I don't know how true that is. I take every prophecy with a pinch of salt. If God didn't talk to me and I can't confirm it, it's a wait and see thing. I don't know if it's going to happen. According to him, the way his prophecy, it's like Nani Uhuru Kenyatta, I think he has cancer or something, ati lose weight and ataishia. We don't know. And according to him, somebody will try to take out Babu Oweno. Okay, this guy kind of went viral after Raila was announced that he passed on. Okay, but anyway, what I'm saying is this, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades. It is time for the Gen Zs, true patriots, revolutionary Kenyans, to take this opportunity to remove Ruto. Not only Ruto, but Ruto and its entire political class. Failure to do that. Let's go to the opposition side, because no one is talking about the opposition right now. The Kachaguas, the Kalonzos. Listen, guys, let me tell you something. That's not a lot of people are paying attention. As far as the opposition side is concerned. Okay, I'll only entertain this because you know where I stand. I stand with the revolution of the people of Kenya. Gen Zote watoe the whole political system. But as it stands, let me touch on the opposition side. On the Ruto side, we understand Ruto is going to adopt this ODM Raila orphans, and he's going to be the presidential candidate. And Oburu will endorse Ruto as the presidential candidate in 2027. And the opposition side, let me tell you about one man that may raise his stature. Kalonzo Musyoka. Ever heard of that name? Kalonzo Musyoka? Kalonzo Musyoka has a really good chance of becoming the president of Kenya if we keep on with this corrupt Ninio. Now, he's not going to win, of course, not because people don't like him. He's not going to win because Ruto already ameshafanya ile kitu. Okay? But if I was to be a betting man, I will bet that Kalonzo Musyoka will be the head of the opposition leading up to the presidential election in 2027. If the Gen Z don't intervene and remove all these political cockroaches. I'll tell you why. Ask yourself, what was Kalonzo doing in UK when Raila passed on? Remember, every electioneering year, or the day before that, these colonial clerks, colonial stooges, colonial puppets that call themselves presidential candidates in Kenya, they usually take a trip to Washington, D.C. and UK. I mean, you can argue, okay, that Wakenya wengi wanaishi UK, Wakenya wengi wanaishi US. But hey, Kenyans are all over. Australia has a bunch of Kenyans. Uko UAE, a lot of Kenyans. Mbona waendangi uko? They go to take their instructions from their colonial master. I told you, Kenya is a British property. Hatujapata uhuru, not yet uhuru. And I'm not talking about Oginga Odinga's book. Okay? Kalonzo Musyoka alipata habari of Raila passing on. Alikuwa UK. Nobody really knew he was in UK. Then he flew back. And now if you look at the opposition, Sifuna is in good terms with Kalonzo Musyoka. Babu Owino endorsed Kalonzo Musyoka. He did endorse it. Okay? Because ODM is dead. ODM imekuwa UDA. In fact, let them turn that orange into yellow. Itabaki na wakina Mbadi na hao mafala wako government hapo. Those are the people who are going to be on ODM. Wengine wataishia. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Orengo also bolts out of ODM. He will. He probably will. Because Orengo, listen, say what you want about Orengo. Yes, he's I saw somebody say in X that he likes irrigating his throat. Whatever that means. I mean, that means kukunywa. Say what you want about Orengo, him, stealing CIA impressed account money. Say what he wants. But Orengo stands by what he says. For the most part. He has always been influenced by Raila Odinga, but James Agri Orengo, for the most part, is one of those few politicians who stick to what they say. And if you look at the decisions that he made that were unpopular, they were greatly influenced by Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga had to come, call him, and wamkalishe chini. Remember when he gave Ruto that speech when kulikuwa na mazishi ya mtu fulani? Was it, who was it? When Raila was still alive. Okay? And Orengo said it like it is. Okay? Yes, he has lost his way, but Orengo, one thing I respect about people is if they stick to their guns. They say what they think and what they believe in without fear of contradiction, fear of being ridiculed, or fear of being harmed. They say it. And that's one thing, Orengo, I respect about. That's why I was telling you, in that Raila funeral, the only person's politician or whatever the case, public official that I will lend an ear to was James Orengo. Everybody else is bullcrap. Okay? And Orengo, listen, the loss of Sifuna and Babu Owino, and you throw in Orengo there, ODM itakuwa UDA. Hiyo O hairudishe igeuke U. I'm telling you. So listen. So Babu Owino has already endorsed Kalonzo Musyoka. Sifuna probably, more than likely, will endorse Kalonzo Musyoka. Okay? All right? Now, if you look at the opposition, Gachagua is a good campaigner. Anajua organizer, mobilizer, as they say. Okay? He's a really, Gachagua, like you say, he's not presidential. Ni mtu wa kucampaign. He talks a lot, anasema vitu ambao hazieleweki, but he can organize people. So he's useful to that. Hata sinulisikia akisema ati, if you thought I campaign for Nani Ruto very hard, wait till you see the next campaign. I'll campaign 10 times harder for whoever is going to be the president besides who is going to challenge Ruto. So you can see that Gachagua, I don't think he minds. He will mind throwing his weight around Kalonzo Musyoka. Because of all the opposition, Kalonzo is one that actually looks like somebody who can run for president. Now, is he my choice of president? No, he's not. But I'm just telling you, given the political situation in Kenya. Unasikia, unaelewa? That's what I'm saying. If the Gen Zs don't rise up and remove Ruto through a popular revolution, na tuende kwa hii election ya 2027, it will be Kalonzo versus Ruto. But of course, Ruto will win through rigging. Alafu tutaenda, you know the drill. Tutaenda Supreme Court iseme hivi. We already know how this plays out, right? So yeah. But watch out for Kalonzo. If you think I'm joking, watch the few months that's coming. If the Gen Zs do not, because Kalonzo atachukua wakina Maraga, atachukua wakina Okiya Mtata, and he will put them together. Atawa include. Atachukua Maraga, awaweke kwa nyuma yake hapo. Atachukua Okiya Mtata, atachukua nyuma yake hapo. These are people who are just running to kufurahisha people. But those are people who he will work with against Ruto, ODM, and all this stuff. Now, Hassan Joho and all that stuff. So that is what is going to be happening probably in the next few months. If the Gen Zs do not stand up and try to remove the Nino. Because like I say, this is the perfect, if there's an opportunity now with Raila gone to remove Ruto through a popular revolution, it is now. Ni saizi, wakati muda ni sasa. Na tusingoje ati sijui we are still mourning Raila. No. It should start now. Raila shamaliza jani yake. He's in the spirit world. Okay? Wherever that place is. Okay? Yashamaliza nje yake. Hii mambo nyinyi mnamuona hapa kwa let his family and very close friends, let them mourn. Tuachane na familia Raila. Wache hao waende let them deal with the mourn. That's their loved one. They are the ones who are feeling the actual pain of missing a father, a close friend, whatever. So those are the ones who are now maybe, okay, the fanatics who wants to be part of it, that's fine. But Kenya has to move on. I'm sorry. We just have to move on. The world is different. This is not like back in the day when, when a king died, what will wanalia for 30 days or 40 days because they had nothing to do with their lives, okay? People have things to do, watu wako na job, maisha mpaka iendelee. This is just the tragedy of life, the reality of life. Mtu akikufa mpaka maisha iendelee. Hatuwezi kusema Raila shaishia. He's done his part, amemaliza, amededi, whether he was alimalizwa or alienda naturally, he's gone. Okay? So let those who are close to him tuwapatie their space, family space, wapange vile wataishia their ninio. Yeah? But saizi tunarudi pale tuko. Naelewa? So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades, like I said, now is the time for Gen Zs to stand up and bring down this system, this corrupt political system that is rotten from every aspect, every independent governmental body, every branch of government is rotten. And the destruction that we are going to be treated to through the news is going to be the news about ODM, how things are, how they are going to plan on dividing us politically. That is what is going to be the focus now of the regime at hand. Hii siasa ya kina Rail, the Babu Owinos and Sifuna versus Oburu and Anyang' Nyong and Mbadi, and that is what we are going to be treated to this next coming weeks. It will make headlines, okay? Then Wamunyoro atafufuka in the next 2 weeks. Wacha October ishe. After 2 weeks, October, November inafika hivi, Gachagua atakuwa na 2-hour exclusive interview. And he might tell you how Raila aliuliwa huko India, aliuliwa na Ruto. I can just predict him saying that. Let us some questions about the suspicious circumstances under which Raila Ali and Zayun. I mean, if Aoko knows these things, okay? Remember, Aoko is the one who gave us that tweet that Raila Menda Zayun. She was the first one that I know. Maybe somebody else knew. If Aoko had the info, what about Gachagua? So in November or late October, Gachagua will have a 2-hour interview, sit down with KTN News or Citizen TV or Kwara or Sam sijui nani, one of those. Or yule Somali guy, I don't know his name. Watakaa chini and he will explain. Atawambia vile, Ruto, I told you Ruto will take over ODM and get rid of Raila Odinga. Utaona. Nimewambia mimi ni nabii wa siasa. The political dietitian. I'm telling you. Okay? But anyway, I won't keep you here long, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, and comrades. Do me one favor. Okay? Go ahead and subscribe, share, like, comment. Kama unafuatilia X, mfuati kwa X. If you're watching on YouTube, ndio jina nini hapo. Jina ndio hiyo hapo kwa screen. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and go check out my videos about the Grand Conspiracy. There's another one, Babu Owino's mistake. Go check out what I said about them and where we might be heading. Okay? Subscribe, share, like, comment. And one other thing, that bell button, please hit it. Click on that bell button so that every time I come in, you will find me here. I'm namna gani? All right, guys, my name is Ken Bruce. Like I said, subscribe, share, comment, and do all the good stuff. We shall talk more about what happened and what unravels now that Raila Odinga is gone, has finished his journey. Okay? Peace and blessings, everyone. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. I'm out.